الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. We'll continue inshallah as we have said in the study of Salah al-Ummah fi Ulu al-Himmah, and this is the second volume in which we have been studying the topic of the da'wah, And we said that the da'wah is an obligation on every believer. As if you remember, we've been studying and saying the da'wah, it's an aspect that is part embedded into the belief of the Muslim. Enjoining good and forbidding evil is a part of the Iman. And if it is a part of the Iman and the content or the topic of the da'wah or the action of the da'wah is manifested through the enjoining good and forbid evil. However, there's another aspect which is more to convey the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to show the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to share the beauty of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is mainly the action of the da'wah. Because being an ambassador of Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He gave you the gift of the Iman, and you live by the gift of the Iman, therefore just by having your life according to the way of Islam, you will be making a da'wah. You'll be making a da'wah. If you are sincere, if you have a good intention, you will be making a da'wah. However, there is people who take the next step, and this is the inspiration that we have mentioned last time. The first example that has been introduced to us in the book is a person who was kind of a muhandis, an engineer, and his name Muhammad Tawfiq. He was from Egypt, and he lived, actually I said in the 40s, in the 40s, but the period of his da'wah when he used to live in Switzerland, it was from in the years of 1929 to 1931. How many people have embraced Islam through him, and with the help of Allah, of course, and the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? 4,000 from people or non-Muslim. We mentioned some of his story last time and how he started. It started in a very simple way, but it's the sincerity, it's the dedication, and so on, that what make a person, subhanallah, to be always driven into the way of the da'wah. And the way of the da'wah, subhanallah, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu in the hadith, قال لا يهدين الله بك رجل واحد خير لك من الدنيا وما فيها. In the other riwayah, خير لك من حمر النعم. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you to be the mean of guiding a person to Allah, to Islam, will be better for you than the whole world and whatever in it. This is one of the great aspects, and actually the da'wah is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala assigned as a task, principal task to His Prophet and messengers. I will read, he was Sheikh Muhammad Tawfiq, they call him Sheikh, He used to have, and at that time people, they exchange mails, not emails, no electronic thing, mails. He used to have an exchange of mails with a pharmacist. He's Catholic. And he used to live in a city in the border of France, him and his wife, for a long time. And then after, subhanallah, every time they, and this is require sabr, this is require perseverance, and a big heart, if you can say. If someone would ask a question, you take your time, you think. So imagine this is, you have to write, now you can do it in emails, things, قال ويرسل إلى مدة طويلة جهد معه. He had, subhanallah, invested a lot of effort with this couple. And he sent to the wife of this pharmacist the meaning of the Quran. And every time she reads something, there's a lot of things that it really had to reflect, and she asked him a question. So then they came to the point to invite him They invite him. So he get the train and he said, I will be there at 4 after noon. And he gave them his description, and he was holding a red book so that he would be known. Now that they get to meet, they took him to their house. And then the wife of the pharmacist, she said, do you have wudu? She was Catholic. Yeah? So after exchange of years, things, subhanAllah, he didn't know that he's going to come to this point. The first thing she shocked him with is a question, do you have wudu? He said, yes. She said, also we have wudu. Can you lead us for the prayer? Subhanallah. Qala, he was so, subhanallah, overwhelmed that he could not hold himself but to fall, subhanallah, crying and weeping. This is story, subhanallah, that you don't know your effort. You might say one word, 2 words, but subhanallah, always when you have that good intention, you don't know how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will have this word to settle in the heart of the person that you talk to, and it will be a mean or subhanallah a way for this person to come to Islam. Other thing he was, he used to send, and he make like a small organization. He used to send, speech or like a reminder or messages to إلى 100,000 شخص, to 100,000 persons. And there's a Sahafi, a journalist, Moroccan journalist, his name Abdul Qadir al-Idrisi, and he's talking about this person who was his friend. He called him the man who was like an organization, like he's a mu'assasa. Himself, it was kind of an institution. أسلم على يدي أكثر من 3,000 شخص. More than 3,000 people, non-Muslim, outside of Islam, outside of the region of Islam. He was in Europe, more than 3,000 persons. I have met him 2 times, and 2 times between them 13 years. However, this person never changed. So he met him 1 time, and the second time he met him after 13 years. He finds the same person, more eager, more driven, always talking about that. And this is the inspiration that we need to get, because many of us, they get into something, they like it, but after a time, subhanallah, it wear out, it turn away, and they forget even what they used to do, like 6 months ago. Someone started to memorize the Quran. After 6 months, he forget that he started to memorize the Quran 6 months ago. So there's things like this eagerness into the way of the da'wah, how this is what we call the high spirit. How can you hold such a thing? How can you maintain it and preserve it? So this person, after he met him after 13 years, قال لا أستطيع أن أقول إن قوته وعزيمته تزدادان مضاءً مع تاويل الأول. Indeed, his strength, his willpower, his eagerness, I am seeing it, just increasing year after year. رجل ليس كرجل قمة من القمم الشامخة. So subhanallah, he kept talking about this person, and all what he did is outside the Muslim world. In the middle of the 30s, he was subhanallah acting in the da'wah on his own. قال وكتب الله لهذا العمل المتواضع الخالص لوجه الكريم أن يتسع ويمتد ويشع وينمو في اضطراد وكان إن ارتفع المعدل الشهر الذين يقبلون على الإسلام. I mean, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put a lot barakah in the very small action that he started, to the point like, he has readers every month and it's increasing, to the point that some of the churches, they thought that this person, he's being backed up by an organization or a Muslim country. When they find out that this person, he's acting on his own, they let him alone. They said, what we can do with this person, we cannot do anything for this person. As a matter of fact, some of the priests or things, they used to come and they want to listen from him and they want to debate. And this person, subhanAllah, he was like an ummah on his arms, like a whole ummah. And you find it as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestow his gift upon whom he will. قال وبمرور الأعمال قفزوا إلى الألف الأولى ثم الثانية. I mean, with the going with the times, subhanAllah, times goes by, 1,000, the 2,000, the 3,000, and all of that from the bounty and the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah will not neglect or ignore the action of the good doers. Inna Allah la yudhi'u ajra al-muhsin. If you do act and you show your eagerness and you show perseverance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put blessing in your action. What his emblem or shi'ar, this person, every time he sends, what is his signature? His signature, he summarized it in this. Every time he sent a message, he said, الناس جميعا أسرة واحدة. All the humankind is one family. Their Lord is one, and their deen is one, and their deen is Islam. الذي دعا إليه جميع الرسول الكرام. Al-Islam, to which all the messengers they called for. وَالسَّعِيدُ النَّاجِي, السَّعِيدُ, which is mean like the happy person, the fortunate person who's going to be saved, the one who understands the Quran. And وَعَمِلَ عَلَى نَشْرِ تَعَالِيمِهِ الَّتِي تُحَقِّقُ الْمَحَبَّةَ وَالسَّلَامَ بَيْنَ بَنِي الْإِنسَانِ. And he acted on teaching its directive and its guidance, which guidance fulfill love and peace between the humankind. So this is what he said in every letter. Beautiful words, very simple words, subhanAllah. And he put the key of being saved is to understand the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is this person, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him for what he has done. Also he has another thing that he used to give shahada, certificate of Islam. But it's not his certificate, so whoever who want to accept Islam, قال he will not give it only after have them to take exams. But wallahi, it's, because many people said, Alhamdulillah, whoever will come to us, embrace Islam, we're not going to tell him we're going to take an exam, Take an exam and a quiz, and then if you pass, we'll have you to accept Islam. No, accept Islam, but the certificate he only give it to the one, قال منح إلا بعد إجراء الاختبارات الدقيقة. Very, subhanallah, meticulous test. He might have, subhanallah, his own reason. حول الدوافع من اقتناع دين الإسلام. What is your reason? Why you want to come to the deen of Islam? So you want to be sure that this person is sincere. ويكتب في الشهادة أي خروج, and he writes in the certificate, if this person, miss or get out from any of the guidance of Islam, this shahada becomes invalid. Non-Muslim anymore. And then he said, read it, وَأَعْطِهَا لِغَيْرِكَ مَشْكُورًا وَلَا تَحْتَكِرْهَا فَتَأْثَى. He said, then read the Quran and study it and share it. Allah will reward you and be thankful for you, and don't keep it to yourself, then you're going to be sinful. This is, subhanAllah, how he used to deal with them, and he was very beloved by the people around him. The next one is Al-Shaykh Rahmatullah ibn Khalil Al-Kiranawi Al-Uthmani Al-Qurashi Al-Hindi. He's from India. And he has a great effort in standing against the missionary that, subhanAllah, spread all over India to get them into Christianity. His book, till famous, is named Idharul Haq. His story is an amazing story. So when we're talking about At-Tansiru, the missionary, missions, and the how to convert people to Christianity in India, it was done with the help of the British colonialism, and to turn the masajid into churches. وبناء 1000 مدرسة تبشيرية. They built more than 1,000 missionary schools, only teaching Christianity. فيها 65,000 طالب. It has 65,000 students. ويتبع للكنائس معاهد متخصصة وكليات في and then to all these churches and these small schools, they have like, institutes and university, all specialty in city like Calcutta, Lahore, Ghaziur, and this is before India before to be like separated or divided into countries. قال then subhanallah there is and all of this being managed by قال تدار بأموال الوقف الإسلامي, and they take the money subhanallah from the Muslim to invest, because this is colonialism. So we are talking about this missionary called Harry Martin, the one who put a foundation to the tansir, to this action of a missionary and making people who are converted to the Christianity. He translated the Bible to the Persian and to the Urdu. Now it comes to the end, there is someone who's an American Catholic, his name Vander, and he converted into being Protestant. So the Kanisa, the Church of England in England, they sent him to be the lead of the missionary in India. This person, he made the biggest fitna in India. So his name Vander, and he made this campaign of missionary inside India by giving a lot of speech and sermons everywhere, in gathering, public gathering, when subhanallah in celebration, in funeral, he goes to the Muslim celebration, Hindu celebration, and always attacking the creed, like the Hindu creed, and also especially the Islamic creed, and tashkik fil Quran, doubting about the Quran, that the Quran is wrong, and in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and challenging all the Muslims scholars. So he was a very big fitna, very big fitna. قال وكان يوجه المنصرين المختلفة المديريات الهندية ويدربهم على إلقاء, and everyone who accepted, convert to Christianity, they trained them to give like sermon and to give khutab and mawa'ad and so on. وألف عدة كتب, and he wrote many of the books about the Christianity. The most important among them and the most dangerous, in fact, his name ميزان الحق, the balance of the truth. بل هو أخطر كتب المنصرين على الإطلاق. He is in history, in the modern history, is the worst and is the most dangerous book of missionary. وتلقى المنصرون والقساوسة هذا الكتاب بالقبول والتقدير. I mean, all the priests and things, they really welcomed this book with high esteem, and it becomes like the base tool of subhanallah converting people to their religion. قال لشموله جميع الشبه والافتراءات وكل ما يمكن أن يعترض به المنصرون والمستشرقون على دين الإسلام. It has everything, that a person needs to doubt about Islam, about Quran, about the Prophet. Now the thing is that this book is forged with lies. That's the biggest thing. So this person, he's a liar. And he get to be famous, and they are, subhanAllah, spreading the deen, their false deen, with lies. With lies. This is what they do, subhanAllah. I mean, when they went to Far East, they were, every society, for example, they have a foundation of creed. They will convert their speech to fit the creed of that society, so they accept the Christianity. without getting into details, but this is طيب. قال now because of his comprehensiveness in this book to defend the Christian creed, he said all the publication that they had, subhanallah, is all came to an end, so they have to reprint this book, but they added into in English, in Persian, in Urdu, and then afterward it was also translated in the Turkish language and the Arabic language. So subhanallah, they make like subhanallah to invade the whole Muslim world. So this book قال هو الينبوع الذي منه يستقي المبشرون. So it becomes like the source guide of every missionary in almost in that area, or those who go to the Muslim world. فهوري زعزعت فندر لعقيدة المسلمين في الهند بترجمته كتاب ميزان الحق إلى اللغتين الفارسية والأردية أعظم من عمل القس هنري مارتن. So what he did with this book to be translated in the two languages, you know, is a big fitna, greater than the action of the first missionary in India, that Henry Martin. يقول وقد عد إبراهيم خليل أحمد القسيس المصري الذي أسلم في كتابه أخطر 4 كتب للمنصرين وجعل أولها أكثره خطوع كتاب ميزان. I mean the most dangerous books of missionary and the person who converted to Islam later, is this one, ميزان الحق, was on the top list, on the top list. طيب بل قال ولهذا الكتاب ردود فعل عنيفة. So this book, there is a lot of very, strong reaction against it, of course, from the Muslim. When it was published from the Muslim. Why? Because it was spread, very fast among the Muslim and among other than Muslim. And the thing is, many of the scholars, nobody spoke. Nobody, subhanAllah, stood to defend the Aqeedah of Islam. To the point that there were like a lot of concern of people who are like weak into their nafs. It's very easy to take them out of the Islam. قال بل إن رام subhanallah, to the point that someone Hindusi who knows this vendor, but he knows Shaykh Rahmatullah وكان محبا لفندر وكتبه تجرأ أن يطلب من الشيخ رحمة الله. Look Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he make a means. So this person, Hindusi, he loved this vendor and he wanted him to prevail in all India. He said, I might ask the sheikh that he's respected among the Muslim to talk to him. So in front of the public, this vendor will defeat in debate Shaykh Rahmatullah. قال الشيخ رحمة الله وهو أستاذ الهندي بلا منازع في الرد على النصارى زيادة فندل لعله يهتدي إلى النصارانية. Maybe شيخ رحمة الله, he will convert into Christianity. يقول أبو الحسن, and this is والحمدلله is going to be the end of Vandal إن شاء الله لعنه الله. أبو الحسن ندوي رحمه الله تعالى, the famous author, he said وقد استفحل أمر فندر ورأى أن الجو قد خلا فازداد جراءة وتحديا. I mean, his case becomes the most difficult case in India. And when he saw nobody is talking, he felt like he went into like going into extreme. ورأى الشيخ رحمة الله أنه لا سبيل إلى الحد من نشاط هؤلاء القساوسة وفي مقدمتهم على رأسهم القس فندر وعادة الثقة إلى نفوس المسلمين إلا مناظرة فندر في مجمع حافل. الشيخ رحمة الله, he said there is no way to truly have an effect on the Muslim and in a very, let's say, a great impact, and should not take time but to invite this vendor to have a debate. And maybe now when we know, for example, when we talk about many of the debate, for example, you see them today, or even actually years ago, like Ahmed Didat, like Zakir Naik, those, subhanAllah, those originally from, from this culture. So the one who started is Rahmatullah, Shaykh Rahmatullah. So he said he invited him to a debate. يحضره المسلمون. Muslim will be present. مواطنون, everyone else, citizen from, from England. The Hukam, the European, Christian, people who convert to Christianity. And then وكان فاندر كثير الإدلال بكتاب ميزان الحق فخورا, and Vander, he was so proud with his book and everything. فأرسل الشيخ رحمة الله 9 رسائل إلى الدكتور القسيس فاندر لترتيب أمور المناظرة العلنية. So they accepted, and then he sent 9 letters to start to arrange this subhanallah, this debate. The debate, so the main topic, تم الاتفاق بينهما أن تكون موضوع في 5 موضوعات, 5 topics. النسخ, that the way how the book was recorded, the scripture. التحريف, if it's been altered or not. ألوهية المسيح, the deity of the Jesus and the Trinity. وإعجاز القرآن, the miracle of the Quran. ونبوة محمد, the prophethood of Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم. وأن تكون المناظرة, and this debate should be Monday and Tuesday from 11 and 12 of Rajab, subhanallah, in Rajab, in 1270 Hijri, which is in 1854. Inshallah we'll continue next time to see what Shaykh Rahmatullah did with his bandar. This is, a story to help us even know, subhanAllah, the story and how the shuyukh, when they, with their patience, with their knowledge, with their wisdom, how they turn things to see like now we read it as a history, walhamdulillah. فنسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يثبتنا على الإيمان ويجعلنا من الذين يدعون إلى سبيله وفي سبيله. وجزاكم الله خيرا. بارك الله فيكم.